So, there's been a lot of news about Ozzy Osbourne's most recent trip to Otherworld, and this news got me thinking, where would the classic rock legend scale in the Dragon Ball universe? He almost has a 60-year catalog of carefully logged feats and skills on his Spotify page, so I took it upon myself to look into these feats and break down where he stands in Dragon Ball. Is he OP? Is he fodder? Find out here in this video. Now before I start this video, I would like to state the obvious that this video is entirely satire. I absolutely love Ozzy and all the accomplishments he's had as an artist and as a person. So rest in peace Ozzy, you shall definitely be missed. Alright, now make sure to like this video and subscribe for more funny videos like this, and let's get right into it. Feat number 1, I Am Iron Man. In the iconic song Iron Man by Black Sabbath, Ozzy states that he is, quote, Iron Man. Now off the bat, I would say that this feat of being Iron Man would be absolutely insane. I mean, current comic book Iron Man would absolutely wash a large chunk of the Dragon Ball verse, putting Ozzy at a pretty solid place in the totem pole, but this isn't really the case. Iron Man, the song by the way, was released in 1970, but it's safe to say Ozzy wrote the lyrics before 1970. The Iron Man Ozzy could have been referencing was from the comic book Iron Man from the mid to late 1960s, and this guy was nowhere near as powerful as current Iron Man or any other Iron Man variants. He did have some pretty amazing feats such as super strength, flight, or laser beams. But even with all this, he most likely scales to around Saiyan Saga Raditz. But here's the real kicker. Ozzy doesn't seem to be wearing any sort of armor. So there is a universe where Ozzy's wearing the armor under his skin, which is quite similar to a few Dragon Ball characters I'm thinking of. Safe to say that if this is the case, Ozzy can safely scale to the early Cell Saga. Feat number 2, Satan. In the self-titled Black Sabbath song, Ozzy states that, quote, Satan's sitting there, he's smiling, watching those flames get higher and higher. So, this feat can go two completely separate ways that drastically change where he scales here. For one, he could be referencing Satan, as in Mr. Satan, the debatable champion of the World Martial Arts Tournament. And if you know anything about Dragon Ball, this unfortunately does not put Ozzy very high. Since he's sitting around with Mr. Satan, he's probably not doing much training and most likely scales to under Dragon Ball original level. But if he's referencing Satan the Demon, this is a whole new level of power. If we use the Demon Realm as, quote, hell in the Dragon Ball universe, this could either be Abra, Dabra, or Goma. Hey, future SS Jambo theory here. While editing, I did think about the people who are going to ask why I use the Demon Realm in this comparison over the Earth Hell. This is simply because of 1, the demonic influence in Ozzy's music, and 2, we don't really know who rules Earth's Hell. Yes, King Yemma determines who goes to heaven and hell, but he doesn't necessarily run hell. Alright, back to regular programming. Although we don't know much about Abra yet, the other two are extremely formidable warriors, and could most likely scale Ozzy to around end of Dragon Ball Z. Who knows, maybe with the help of the Turnian Oculus, he could even go beyond Super Saiyan 3 level. Feat number 3, Crazy Train. In the song Crazy Train by Ozzy, he states that, quote, I'm going off the rails like a crazy train. This song was released back in 1980, and Ozzy was born and raised in Birmingham, England. The most popular train during the late 70s and early 80s in the UK was the Intercity 125, a train that had a top speed of around 125 miles per hour. This is quite fast, but unfortunately would be pretty slow compared to others in the Dragon Ball saga. For scale, Gotenks in the Buu saga circled around the entire planet in around 25 to 30 minutes. This means that Gotenks was going between 50 to 75,000 miles per hour for this feat. Not to mention that Dragon Ball's Earth is larger than our own, but that's a whole different video. So, what makes Ozzy redeemable here? Well, the train is crazy. Because we're delusional and none of this is real, we can assume that the crazy form multiplies the miles per hour by 50 times, similar to the Super Saiyan multiplier given to the Saiyans. This would put Ozzy at 6,250 miles per hour while in the crazy train form. This speed easily scales Ozzy into Namek Saga at the bare minimum. Speaking of forms, this makes a great interval to feat number 5, Changes. In the song Changes by Black Sabbath, Ozzy states that he is, quote, going through changes. Well, a ton of characters go through changes in the Dragon Ball franchise. This opens up a lot of doors for the Prince of Darkness, so let's explore him. Starting off, he can't be a Namekian. Namekians have iconically green skin and antennae on their head, which Ozzy has nothing of the sort. It's also been proven that Namekians can live up to several centuries. For example, Grand Elder Guru lived up to 500 years old. With Ozzy's recent trip to Otherworld at the age of 76, this is clearly not the case. Well, what about a Majin? Nope, definitely not. Ozzy isn't nearly pink enough, and he also doesn't have a giant wiener sticking out of his forehead, which is a pretty big giveaway for a Majin. I believe that Ozzy could be one of 3 races, the Tuffles, the Ceruleans, or the Saiyans. And immediately the Tuffles are out since they have not shown any indication that they can, quote, go through changes. And no, I'm not counting Baby, he's clearly only a Tuffle by name, not genetics. And he's clearly not a Cerulean since he wasn't able to spot who's in his room stealing his beers. If you know, you know.
Who would do that?
So, he must be a Saiyan. Wow, Ozzy, you really hit the tail pretty well for 70 years, but you can't fool me. So, going back on track, I'm going through changes indicates that Ozzy has evolved multiple times. This means that he could have gone to Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, or even beyond that. But a good point to bring up is where would beyond be for Ozzy? I think this is quite simple. Prince of Darkness, Darkness, Destruction, God of Destruction, Prince Vegeta. Come, y'all, it's Ultra Ego. Connect the dots, people. It's also confirmed that Ozzy has a biological daughter that has accessed the Ultra Ego form numerous times. This means that she most likely learned from Ozzy himself. I think it'd be a pretty safe bet to say that if this was the case, Ozzy could easily scale the current or end of Super manga in the Granola Saga. Feat number 6, Immortality. In the song Immortal by Ozzy, he states that, quote, "But I will never die, because I'm immortal, yes, immortal." There's not really much to say about this one. He's basically just saying it straight up. He's immortal, but how immortal is up to interpretation. His immortality could be scaled to Garlic Jr., who used the Earth Dragon Balls to wish for immortality. Or it could be scaled to someone like Zamasu, who used the Super Dragon Balls to wish for immortality. Safe to say that the immortality granted by Super Shenron is much stronger than the Earth Shenron's wish. So who knows, he could either scale to early Saiyan Saga or middle of Dragon Ball Super Goku Black Saga. Feat number 7, Won't Stop. In the song I Don't Want to Stop, Ozzy states that, quote, "All I know is I don't want to stop, all fired up, I'm gonna go till I drop." Although not necessarily a feat, it could take him far as a fighter. This could possibly mean that Ozzy has the same fighting mentality as either Goku or Vegeta, although I'm not really sure who it is. In Goku's case, the quote could mean that he has the same enthusiasm about fighting and martial arts. Goku absolutely loves to fight and get stronger, and by the looks of it, Goku's going to be doing these things until he eventually dies of old age. Ozzy could have the same mentality, which could take him far in the franchise. On the other hand, this could be reference to Vegeta's stubborn cockiness. Vegeta absolutely refuses to leave a fight until he can no longer stand, and this mindset has helped Vegeta collect Zenkai boosts many times in the past. These would most likely help Ozzy climb the ranks as the strongest fighter in the franchise. So I'm really not sure which mindset he would lean more into. Maybe Goku, maybe Vegeta, maybe both, who knows. Feat number 8, Temporal Travel. In the song Symptom of the Universe, Ozzy uses the lyrics, "Take me through the centuries to supersonic years." Now, perhaps he's talking about another entity, or perhaps he's talking to someone inside of himself, alluding a bit to the first feat about the Ironman thing. Whatever it is, this confirms that he somewhat has access to temporal travel. This could either scale Ozzy to one of 4 characters. 1, it could scale Ozzy to Goldo, the time-stopping mistake of the Ginyu Force. I can't see this being canon, since Goldo can't really go very far forward in time, only by how long he could hold his breath. 2, it could scale Ozzy to Hit, which is a no because he's pretty similar to Goldo in his temporal abilities. 3, it could scale Ozzy to a Supreme Kai equipped with the Time Ring. This is the character that I believe Ozzy would scale to. The power of the Time Ring correlated very similarly to what Ozzy talks about in the song. The 4th character would of course be Whis, but his time ability is shown to be just going backwards in time, which isn't really what Ozzy's talking about. And finally, the big feat number 9, Universal Secrets. In the song A National Acrobat, Ozzy Osbourne states that he is, quote, "the world that hides the universal secret of all time." This is debatably Ozzy's strongest and most powerful feat. Knowing the universal secret of all time far surpasses any use of temporal ability currently in Dragon Ball. This feat also confirms that the previous feat was just a small window into Ozzy's temporal ability. So I'm going to be pretty blunt with this skill. Being able to influence time in an entire universe clearly makes him a universal to multiversal threat. This could even pose a threat to Grand Zeno, the Omni King of the multiverse. Being even remotely a threat to the Omni King puts Ozzy above about 99% of the current canon Dragon Ball franchise. I mean hell, this even makes him quite the formidable foe in the non-canon Dragon Ball franchises such as Dragon Ball Heroes. Although it is confirmed as canon now, as well as everything else, which is kinda stupid, but I'm not going to speak on it, it is what it is. Nonetheless, this feat could be Ozzy's ticket to becoming quite the protagonist, or antagonist depending on how bored he is. Well, that's all the feats I picked out for this video, so let's get to my official standing for Ozzy Osbourne in the Dragon Ball franchise. I'm not gonna lie, with the last feat, he definitely ascends past current manga Dragon Ball Super, making absolutely zero reason for this video to be made, so we're gonna retcon that. Using all the other 8 feats, I think it's safe to say that Ozzy Osbourne could be incorporated into the story anywhere between the Tournament of Power and the Moro arc. possibly even as a Saiyan from another one of the universes. But this all depends if he can actually go Ultra Ego. Although, if it is the case, I can see him going even beyond this into the Granola arc. Well, that's all I got for Ozzy. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing for more content like this. Who knows, if this video blows up, I might have to make another one with a different musician and kind of make it a series. Alright, once again, RIP to the legend Ozzy, and I'll see you all in the next video.